We're about to go live now. Okay, perfect. Boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have an incredible guest with us today, one who's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than our brother Talib Muhammad out of Rhode Island, or from Rhode Island, now in Detroit. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother.
Yes, sir. On behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us. The first question that we want to know from you, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I first heard of the Most Honorable. I remember like it was yesterday. It was 1986. I was on Lafayette Street in Carlton and Lafayette. On the 4th floor of Brownstone. My father had this lecture, Power at Last Forever. And my father said, I don't know nowhere until I look at this. It was at that time we had VHS tapes.
Yes, sir.
You know, I can't say no to my father, but I was watching it, and I'm seeing all these Indians talking. I see Stokely Carmichael talking, and the only person I knew at that time that was talking was my Uncle Bob Law, so he caught my eye. And, I remember, like, they didn't say too much. He said, if y'all harm this man, and all he did was put up the fist sign and walk away. Then after that, I saw the minister, and I was lit ever since, brother. 1986. It happened in 1985. And I asked my father, did he go? And he said, yes. And he said, I asked him, why didn't he invite me? He said, they had so much security that we had to go through. You wouldn't have went through that. So, you know, but my father is the one who introduced me to the nation in Minister Farrakhan.
All praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Okay. And you said your uncle is Bob Law.
Yes, Bob Law, that's my uncle. Yes, sir, beloved. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. I've had the honor of interviewing him on the People's Podcast. I hope
praise be to Allah.
People
yes,
go
sir.
back and listen to that as well.
Yes,
now,
sir.
What was the climate like in Rhode Island towards the Muslims and when you accepted the teachings?
Okay, well, let's back up. You asked me, I was born in Rhode Island.
Okay.
When I was 2, I moved from Rhode Island to go to Baltimore. And then in 1970, we moved from Baltimore to Atlanta. Okay, now, we was in Atlanta until 1981. I heard of the Muslims, but I never went to a meeting. It wasn't until I came from Atlanta, Georgia. Well, we say in Atlanta, Georgia, because that's what everybody knows. But we left Decatur, Georgia, 4396 Mercer Road, off of Covington Highway.
Okay.
We moved from there to New Haven, Connecticut. So New Haven, Connecticut and New York is like 71 miles apart from each other. So I would always go back and forth to New York to visit my father. And I said that was 1981. So 1986, that's when I got my first taste. So now if you want to ask how was the spirit in New Haven, Connecticut?
New Haven, yes, sir.
It's not by coincidence, but the lodge in Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut is number 40. And New Haven, Connecticut is number 40. And New Haven is a very, very, very progressive area in the Northeast, and we all know Yale University is plotted there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you know, but the vibe and the feeling in New Haven, they are still this very day very receptive to the Nation of Islam. And may Allah be pleased with Brother Abdul Hafiz Muhammad. He was the brother who brought the study group to New Haven, Connecticut. He was the one who maybe unveiled it. He was the first minister who spoke there. And at that time, Brother Edwin Muhammad was the study group coordinator in New Haven.
Oh, praise to Allah. Beautiful. Okay, great. How did your family and friends feel about you accepting the teaching?
Well, I'm gonna give a big shout out to my uncle. He's known as Theodore Brooks, but we call him Uncle Lenny. And he's a bishop, but he's retired now. So I got my family is mainly 99.8% all Christian.
Mm.
So my mother, I remember it like it was yesterday when I told her I joined. I didn't know until later that my mom told me my father was in the Nation of Islam in Buffalo.
Mm.
So my brother was born in 1963, so I want to say he maybe was in the nation in 62. I don't know when he started, but it was in Buffalo.
Mm.
And she always wondered, you know, when I was growing up, because I'm in Georgia, okay? And these white boys telling me that Jesus was a white man, I brought out the scripture. I went in there about the olive colored skin, the bronze skin, the whole nine, the coarse hair, the whole nine. And my mother used to just sit back because she never told me this. But this was just something I was going back and forth with them about when I was down there. But my mother, I want to say it took her, I accepted in 92, matter of fact, in Atlanta, Georgia, in the dome.
Mm.
And in 92. But and then I accepted in Mosque number 7, under Minister Conrad Muhammad, the last Sunday of 1992. That's when I accepted, beloved. But my mother, she came around, I want to say, after the Million Man March. Because when she would write my name down, okay, how you spell that, Muhammad? How you spell this and how you spell that? Because when I got my ex, I went and got my name changed legally.
Mm.
And I went by, at that time, I knew Derek, so it would be Derek X. So she would even ask me, well, how you want me to spell X? I said, my X. Okay. So she would be going MOHAMMEED. No. MUHAMMAD.
Yes, sir.
But after the Million Man March, she came around and everybody was receptive. And I spoke to Minister Don because I love the way my Uncle Lenny preaches. Mm. And in Boston, he said, if your uncle is a pastor and you want to go to his church, you go to his church. Mm. He said, go to his church. That's your minister for the day. Mm. So, you know, but I hope I answered the question, beloved.
Yes, sir. You absolutely did. Thank you. And thank my sister Miriam says Ramadan Mubarak. Brother Damien says Assalamu alaikum Ramadan Mubarak. And they always show love. Thank you all for always showing love. My next question is, speaking of the Million Man March, how did it impact you? What was the climate like leading up to it? And how did it personally impact you?
Brother, let me tell you this. The Million Man March was on October the 16th. I took a 2-week vacation. Mm. I was in Baltimore, Maryland with the at that time, the Mid-Atlantic Regional Secretarial. And we traveled back and forth to DC every day, brother, doing something. That was just something that I would never forget, brother. Mm. And we were worried about like 2 days, 3 days going into the Million Man March because the Baltimore and Maryland police, they were setting up blockades and they were just stopping people just because. And I remember I was with the brother Secretary and we had Brother Fontaine at that time, Brother Abdul Rasul today. We needed a certain amount of money. I'm not gonna go into it, but it was a brother where he used to work at in Baltimore. And I don't know if you have ever been on the BW Baltimore-Washington Expressway, but brother, I drove my car down that lane that wasn't a lane for a good 25 miles because we had to get there and then come back to DC to drop off the money. But it was just a nonstop. Every day we were doing something leading up to that. And I stayed a week afterwards. But not a week, I stayed 4 days afterwards because in our contract at the time, if you missed more than 4 days of work, the 5th day you had to come to the doctor's. So I came back on that 5th day, beloved.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Excellent. Okay. So once the Movement March is over, you come back. Was there ever a time when you were faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
I never had fear, but I had what we call, when we out there with that final call newspaper, you know, your friends, your so-called friends, you ain't really want them to see you out there with that paper. Okay, you know, they come by, they want to talk to you, you know, they always trying to get you off the square, the whole nine. So if I see you, I'm trying to turn my head or I'm trying to go into the store because I don't want you to see. But it was never a fear, brother. If anything, just feeling that vibration on the mall, with them brothers bumping into you, the brother that you bumped into is apologizing for him being there for me to bump into him. You know, when we was because I was in the secretarial staff, and to this day I'm still working in the secretarial staff, but us dealing with the money that was there, the people, I mean, brother, it was just a glimpse for me to know that we could really do this. We could really be brothers, because those brothers on that mall that day, if some brothers can say they'd never seen true brotherhood, Muslim, Christians, Hebrew Israelites, brothers that don't believe in God, Hindu, they were all there on that mall that day, brother, and it was nothing but love, brother. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. Praise be to Allah.
Beautiful, yes, sir. And speaking of being in the Secretarial Department, what advice would you give to others who may want to go into the Secretarial Department?
Say it again, brother.
What advice would you give to people who want to go into the Secretarial Department?
Okay. Well, first of all, there's going to be long days. I mean, let me give you a perfect example. I've been to Africa. My computer goes with me to Africa. I'm doing inputs from Africa. Not because I have to, because I want to. So if you want to be in the secretarial staff, it's a dedication. It's a dedication. And my phone has always been on, but I remember in New Haven, Connecticut, I was the first one at the mosque, and my staff was the last ones to leave. So it's not something that you think, well, mosque opens up at 11 o'clock, I'll be there at 10, and by 2 o'clock, we out the door. That's not the case. You know, and when you're in the secretarial department, you got to remember that you are the keeper of the secrets. So let's just say if you was in Detroit, you and your wife was in Detroit, and your wife wanted to ask me about, she wanted to pay something on your charity. I could take her money, but I can't tell her how much you paid on your charity. You got to speak to your husband about that. So you gotta be careful on the information that you give out. You can only really give out the information to the person who's in front of you, not a family member, not your daughter, not your son. It's just dealing with it. So it's very confidentiality. And on that note, I had two of the best teachers in the Nation of Islam. I had two Eastern Region secretaries, and they still on post to this very day. First one was Sister Virginia Muhammad, and the second one was Brother Derrickson Muhammad, which you had on your show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So whatever I learned from those two.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. And people are showing you love all across the country. My sister Naima sends greetings. A brother, I think this is his first time ever watching, sends greetings. And thank everyone who's showing love on YouTube as well. Once we put it up, please let us know what city you're from and continue to like, share, and subscribe as well. Thank you very much. My next question for you, sir, in life, what has been your greatest trial and how have you overcome that trial?
My greatest trial that I had is at the age of, I think it was either 9 or 10. We were playing, I don't know if it's still up there, it's still there now, but Samuel L. Jones Boys Club in Decatur, Georgia. I was playing bumper pool, and the ball fell off the table, and I went to get it. And when I got it, I bumped my head, and I had a seizure. Never had a seizure before then. And from the age of 10, I mean, I'm 57 now. And Savior's Day 2017 was my last seizure. But I had to admit to myself that I had seizures. Because when I had a seizure, and you know, children, you know, they laugh. I mean, if you and I were walking down the street and I stumped over a stump, you're probably gonna laugh. You know, it's not because you meant to, but it was funny. So every time I had a seizure, you know, people are seeing me shake. And when I wake up, I'm looking at people and they're looking at me strange. So I would always try to dilute my medication or tell my mom I took my medication, because I never liked having epilepsy. It's not a good feeling. But once I own that I had epilepsy and I'm able to talk to people about I have epilepsy, you know, I'm able to do a lot more things that I didn't want to do before because I was nervous and scared about it. So I read up a lot more on it, and I'm able to accept this is something that I had. And I went to visit Dr. Alim, I want to say maybe for the first time, it was like 99. And then up until maybe about, I want to say maybe 2012 or 2013. From that span of time, he was able to get me off of 4 medications down to 1. And he said, I don't want to take you off of this because you've been taking this medication for 40 years. But then he held up the book of How You to Live, Part 1 and Part 2. He said, but I can't say that I've cured you, but if you continue to do as I asked you to do and you eat How You to Live, in a period of time, you will probably be able to wean yourself off of that medication. So during that, I met a sister by the name of Sister Dr. Tissa Muhammad, who's out of Toronto. So she has, for the last year and a half, I've been taking these natural herbs and supplements that she has. So it's like a weaning off process. Every time I go to my doctor, everything is virtual now. But when I go to my doctor and I get my blood work done, they see progress. So I'm weaning myself off of it, but at the same time, I'm following instructions because we don't want something to happen from what we're taking natural. You know what I'm saying? So weaning yourself off of it, and all praises due to Allah. You know, I'm a much better person myself because I'm starting to love myself more because, you know, when I had it, I don't care how old I was crying. My mother would always press me close to her chest because she didn't want me to see the people. And so my daughter's mother, who at that time was my wife, she understood. So it was something that, you know, I wanted to keep close to me, but I tell the people who I'm around now that I'm associating myself with, I let them know that I have epilepsy. And if something happens, this is what you should do. And this is what you shouldn't do. So, but that's been my biggest fear that I can recognize. And I finally recognized that I want to say maybe 2015, beloved.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. And I'm glad. Thank you for your transparency and your honesty. And may Allah bless you, continue to bless you and heal you in your journey.
Yes, sir.
What has been your greatest joy in life?
My greatest joy, brother, is my 4 daughters and my granddaughter. Me accepting the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the Million Man March, brother. Those 3 right there, brother. I'm not going to put them in any order, but I'm just going to let those who are listening, they can put it together because you know how we do. We cipher everything, brother. But my daughters, the Million Man March, and me accepting the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Beautiful. All praise due to Allah. And Brother Talib, we have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast during this holy month of Ramadan. I want to thank everyone who continues to like, share, and subscribe. We have people who give us anonymous sponsorships and donations from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We are grateful for everyone. If you'd like to be a sponsor or donor, please cash app the People's Podcast. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me's children's book, coloring book, and Spanish book, all 3 of which are available on Amazon. Please get those. My sister Naima, Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country and right here in the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. We love our tiny dancers. Rock Communications. If you are working on a book and you need copy editing, project management, content development, or media relations, please reach out to Rock Communications. Fashion Guides, our brother who has urban streetwear for men and boys, 314-329-6009. He'll keep you dressed in the best of fashion and dripping in clothes. Student Minister Robert L. Muhammad, conflict mediation, squashing the beef throughout the Southwest region. He does a phenomenal job. His wife, Sister Fudia Muhammad, children of the Most High, giving birth to a God in the science of child rearing. Also, Sister Sherry Muhammad, AsiaticMinds.com. She teaches STEM virtually, young kings and queens all across the country, and right here in the studio, AsiaticMinds.com. Brother Kenneth, bow tie maker extraordinaire. He'll ship bow ties to you anywhere in the nation. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry's Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 disinfecting cleaning services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Okay, so Brother Talib, speaking of books, will you ever write a book?
You know, Minister has got me on this thing. He said, brother, matter of fact, we were just talking about we was in Ghana. He said, Brother Talib, you need to put something together because somebody needs to, that's my age or younger, needs to know when you started traveling and where you traveled to. So, because Minister Akbar loves, he loves for people to travel. Mm-hmm. So I told him, starting our next voyage, if we have one, I will begin to put my journal together, and then, you know, inshallah, I will do that. But before we go any further, I got to do a shout out to Brother Kenneth Muhammad, the bow tie man. Okay, when I had my bookstore in Connecticut, he was blind. So when I get down to Atlanta, brother, I need at least a dozen of your ties, brother. All right? Yes, sir. I'm sorry, brother. I had to do that.
Yes, sir. No, that's good. That's all good. I'm glad to, show love to Brother Kenneth.
That's New York here to me because, he came from New York. So, that's
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm familiar. Yes, sir. Okay. So where has been your favorite place to travel abroad?
I love Ghana. Okay. I love Ghana. I love Senegal. I love Rwanda. We got to talk about the food in Rwanda, but I love Rwanda. But China and Brazil is also two of the countries that I've been to that I like. Mm. Allah has blessed me to be on 5 of the continents, and when I heard the minister said the 2 that he didn't go to, and because I don't need to go to those 2, so I've been blessed to be in 5 continents, beloved.
Yes, sir. And what are the 2, and what are the reasons so that you can help save other people?
Antarctica, brother. It's too cold up there, brother. Too cold. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Okay, great. What type of music do you listen to, Brother Tyler?
Oh man, I'm a jazz person. I'm a believe it or not, I'm a what we call is I'm a Chuck found with the go-go.
Okay.
I like hip hop, and now I've been down in Georgia. I love country music. So I could go with it all. Besides the hard rock and roll, but in Decatur, Georgia, we listen to AC/DC, Styx, and Chicago. I could do that, but this hard rock and roll today, I can't deal with. So I can really roll with anything, beloved.
Beautiful, yes sir, yes sir.
Especially all of you got on that back wall right there, brother.
Praise you to Allah. Okay, great. Now, Brother Talib, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
I would just like to be known as a brother who made a lot of faults and errors, but was able to own up to them and trying not to commit them again. I don't ever want to say, let me back up. I don't ever want to be comfortable again. Because when you're comfortable, you stop striving. When you're comfortable, you think you're all right. is set. But at a twinkling of an eye, Allah can take it from you. And I'm a bearer witness of that. So I want to be known as a brother who is able, maybe not come right out in front and tell you, Brother Joshua, but I'm gonna come to you and let you know that what I did to you, I apologize for. So I want to be known as that brother who was able to get back up off of his feet when he got knocked down. And not depending upon nobody else but Allah. Because I've had people who said they were my friends, but when I got in that situation, you know, they all went that way and they all went this way, and it left me here by myself. And in the beginning, I was angry and upset with them, but that's what Allah wanted, because may Allah be pleased with my sister Veronica. It was in this house. She passed in 2013 in March. And it was like, I'm looking at you right now. She asked me this question: you doing everything for everybody else, but what are you doing for us? Brother, I woke up at that moment, I woke up, okay? And so I just had to admit a whole lot of stuff, and I still got the mirror down in my lower level today where I had a session with myself in that bathroom. And let me just say, that mirror I got downstairs, you can't see through it, because I was talking to that mirror and talking how that person in the mirror I didn't like, I didn't understand. But after a session in that bathroom, brother, you're looking at another brother right now. Another brother. So I tell everybody, and also my brother-in-law, Brother Benny Muhammad, he gave me a lot of hard advice. And when I didn't accept it, he kicked me out of the house. And in Detroit, I don't know about Atlanta, but in Detroit in the wintertime, it's cold, brother. Cold. And I had a house to go to, but it didn't have nothing in it. But you know, but I had to accept what he was telling me, because what he was trying to tell me, because he didn't want me to go back to that person. I used to be that person. I love the pity party. My mother's girlfriends come over the house and say, "Oh, Andrea, don't worry about that. He gonna be all right. He gonna be all right. He gonna be all right." And they would come and give me that hug and slap me a little bit of money on the side. And I never knew after that I didn't do no wrong, because they allowed me to continue on with my ignorance. Let me put it that way. I know we live. I don't want to go there, but I say ignorance.
Yes, sir. Man, praise be to Allah, the truth. That you know, self-analysis. We all on our journey. I'm glad that you're aware that, and you, man, you want it. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
But listen, people been trying to get me to do that self-analysis for years, brother. I mean, years. But when you hit rock bottom, you ain't got no choice, because what else can I do? I'm at in 2014, I got a divorce with a sister who was my childhood sweetheart. And we was together for 31 and a half years. And brother, let me tell you something. That was not a beautiful feeling at all. And so I did things that, you know, I regret that I did them. But on the other hand, it allowed me to learn a lesson. And it allowed me to see things clearer now. You know, I'm able to talk to my daughters better now than before, but I had to go to them and I had to apologize, you know? And one of my daughters is married, so she brought her husband with her because he was in there. So I had to open up and I had to apologize. But doing that, it made me, I believe, a better person for this day.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But Brother Talib, inshallah, I look forward to meeting you in person, breaking bread with you, and having a conversation with you. And if you ever come back to Decatur, I
will be there in May, brother.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just let me know. Let me know. Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, and maybe I want to meet with you so you can help me get out of my trepidation of traveling abroad. You know, I'm more. I like American.
Let me tell you this. You know what? Have you? This is a rhetorical question, but have you ever traveled from Atlanta to anywhere in the United States?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you shouldn't have no problem traveling abroad, because I've been to Europe. Okay, now Europe probably has the most outside of the United States as far as crime-wise. But when you go to Africa, you go to China. Okay, and I don't know too much about South America and Central America besides what they tell us on TV. But when I speak to Minister Akbar about it, they're beautiful places. But the crime rate, brother, in Africa, from what I've seen, I haven't seen no fights. I haven't seen no men chasing women. I haven't seen nobody drunk. So this is all, in my humble opinion, America don't want blacks to travel. Because once you travel, you really get to see for yourself. You get to make your own assessment. But if you travel on a plane, brother, you ain't worried about how high it is, but you go between 35,000 and 40,000 feet. And for you down in the South talking about, oh, it's too cold for me to travel, I can ask you, how was your trip? You said it was fine, brother. I said, but don't you know it was 85 degrees below zero when you was up there? But you was in what we call a house. You had the air conditioner, you had the heat on. Had a little turbulence, but you was fine. But brother, there's no need or no worry for you to want to travel abroad. You got more worries here in the United States traveling than you do over there.
Okay, great. Yes, sir.
I thought you was gonna tell me you were scared to fly, but I know who your father is, so I know you ain't scared.
Oh no. I mean, I've been to Jamaica. I've traveled, and I just like America. Just overseas, just it's something new. I ain't, you know what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
But like, I'll tell you, like Akbar has said to me, because when you want to go to Africa or something, try to go to because what may turn you off, say if you go to, I mentioned Senegal and I mentioned Ghana. If you go to Senegal before you go to Ghana, you may not like Africa. Because in Senegal, they speak French. They speak American, they speak English. But it's like, yeah. And they understand the word you said. You know, in Ghana, the same thing, but it's, as Minister Akbar calls it, a 60-40. You know, they heard 60% of what you said, but 40% they didn't hear. So you gotta, that's just the language barrier that you gotta go through, but I'm telling you, leaving the United States, I mean, your stress level, you know, it's gone, brother. When you cross in that line, and you know that you left JFK Airport or BWI, or you left Atlanta, and you flying and going across the Atlantic Ocean, brother, your stress is gone, brother. Yes, sir. I'm on Facebook. Look at my pictures when I was in Ghana, and then look at my pictures when I was in Ghana going back in the airport. Face total difference, brother. The sister was saying you were smiling while you was there, but now you see you coming back home. I gotta come back to reality. Okay, I gotta come back to reality. So you ain't got a fear of going overseas, brother. Your biggest fear right here, brother.
All praise to excellent advice. And I want to thank everyone who's watched. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Thank you again, Brother Talib.
Thank you, beloved.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Kareem.